we haven't, why don't we go straight to tourism and we'll talk to the Sri Lankan minister. Now, I've been covering Sri Lanka for some time now. Your country has had the worst economic crisis in 7 decades. You have inflation running at what, over 70% right now?
Yep.
How is it possible to tell the world that Sri Lanka is the place where they want to go on holiday?
Well, I would say the world is going through recession and Sri Lanka is also a part of it. We are hit a bit hard, but Sri Lanka is a resilient nation and our main reserves or the main income comes from tourism to Sri Lanka. So it's very important. It's a big, large scale. More than 20% of our population depends on tourism. So therefore it is very key for us. And also Sri Lanka is an island nation. It's a beautiful place. So the hospitality doesn't die just because inflation is high. The hospitality is there. The Sri Lankans always smile and they always are welcoming and they are the most hospitable nation, I would say, outside Europe for sure. And why not go there? And also the value for money that you get in Sri Lanka right now is more. So what you get for a pound when you come and spend in Sri Lanka is going to be quite a big margin. So you can do quite a lot in Sri Lanka at the moment, which will in return help Sri Lankan economy as well.
Okay, talking about your currency there, the rupee, it's incredibly difficult, isn't it, for businesses to set prices when the rupee keeps falling and falling and falling? What are you supposed to do if you're a hotel?
Well, what do you do? What as a government, what we have to do is what I could answer, and what the industry can do is make sure keep getting more visitors to come into the country. I think there are a lot of countries who went through recessions, went through a bad inflation, but how they came up was the business beginning to pick up. Why Sri Lanka crashed more than anything was the 2019 when the Easter bombing happened, and then when the pandemic came in, and also bad policies from politicians, which the whole political crisis that happened in Sri Lanka, which led to a massive financial crisis also in Sri Lanka. So it's the same way we'll have to get out of it. It's the more that we do, the more tourists that comes into Sri Lanka, the more remittances of the foreign employees in Sri Lanka coming into Sri Lanka. So it's a business model again that will have to rectify the situation.
I mean, you know, I feel for you. It's a country that just can't catch a break, as you say. It's been crisis after crisis after crisis. And I hear what you say about, you know, the fact that if you get money coming into the economy, then that will certainly help businesses. But it's very tricky. I mean, if you're sort of someone thinking about booking a holiday, for example, at the moment, how do you know if you're going to go to Sri Lanka that there's going to be enough fuel, that there's not going to be another petrol shortage in crisis? How are you going to know how much your breakfast is going to cost you?
So we've been putting lots of things in place. We have a fuel pass, especially for tourism. So any tourist who comes in to the country, the different travel agents will already get a specific quota, which they have been already secured with. And also, if let's say somebody walking in wants to rent a car and drive, they can take a fuel pass from the airport and top it up from a bank. So, which by paying dollars. So right now we have got enough fuel supplies. I mean, I see in France there are fuel queues. This is quite common now in the world and in day and age. But I would say still, Sri Lanka is far cheaper coming to Sri Lanka at this moment than paying the gas prices in Europe. So you come for a long stay in Sri Lanka, it'll be 10 times cheaper still for you to stay with a quality holiday. And we have some star-class hotels doing fantastic work on marketing. And recently we got all the other airlines, Air France, KLM, Swiss Air, all calling into Sri Lanka again. So they see potential in Sri Lanka and they see a lot of bookings coming into Sri Lanka.
But one question very briefly, if I may. Looking at your hotel rates for November, Sri Lanka comes in more expensive than Phuket, Pattaya, Penang, Langkawi, Bali, Vietnam, Cambodia. You're not competitive.
Well, Sri Lankan have a different brand, different product. We are not Bali, we are not Thailand. So we're not going for the numbers, but we have only official set of 40,000 rooms in Sri Lanka, which is equivalent to Qatar. But the quality of hotels, the boutique hotels, the villas, so it differs. So when you really put on the pricing, it may not look competitive, but the price that you want to find, you can find it in Sri Lanka, whatever kind of the price that you want to find. You want to go for a high end, yeah, you get the high end. But if you want to go on the backpacking trail, you still can find it. Either ways, I would say Sri Lanka is much cheaper when you see the financial transaction. So you get $1 change in Sri Lanka. There's so much more that you can do in Sri Lanka.
Okay, Hara and Fernando, thank you very much for your time. Thank you.